Hey there, Tracy here with a brand new medium from Simon Hurley. I'm so excited to share this with you. I've done this video live, so it's rather long, so let's jump right into it. Test number 3. This is test number 3. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So I've got the new goodies from Simon Hurley. I'm sure no doubt you've seen them already, but my turn to share. So first of all, I've got the Heartfelt Blooms stamp set, and I do have the dies that you can get separately from Spellbinders. And these are kind of cool because looks like you can stamp the color in. No fuss, no muss. These ones look like you'll have to color in yourself. And then we've got this peel apart background stamp. So these little flowers peel out. And this one is called Whimsical Florals. And then here's the gold here for me, friends, this background text stamp. I love, love, love this kind of thing, so you guys know that. And so I'm excited to get this, and this is going to go directly into my mostly used. I have a little bin over here with mostly used stamps, and this one's definitely has a home there. Then what we have that's new, we have new from Simon Hurley, brand new products, Solar Spray. So we've got Royal Flush, and you want to make sure to shake these up before you use them. Shake them up really well. And they work color-wise the same way as the Solar Paste. And then we've got Golden Hour. Oh, I got a funny light going on there. Golden Hour. Let's turn this to automatic. Maybe that'll help. One moment. Won't let me go automatic. Okay. Just my light seems weird. Now I bumped the camera. Of course. Okay. We've got Cross My Heart, which is kind of a pinkish red. We've got Overheated, which is kind of an orange. We've got Crocodile Tears, so all the same color names. And we've got Beluga, which is a blue. So I'm going to take some stuff out, and then we'll have a play with these. So I'm going to start by creating my background, and I'm going to use this background stamp, so I'll go ahead and take that out. And I'm going to get out a little piece of Simon Hurley Stark White cardstock. And I want a very light background. So let's come in with a little bit of color here. Let's grab one of my blending buddies. And I'm going to come in with Over the Moon. And let's just grab a rag here and make sure I don't have a bright yellow on my blending buddy, because this is an interesting shade of yellow right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and lightly blend. And not the whole thing, just here and there. So that I have kind of a, I don't know, just kind of a calm little background going here. Okay, and I'm going to do a tone on tone, and so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my stamp, I'm going to put it in a stamp platform. Let's see here. I think we'll use the Tim Holtz if I can get it out. Oops, clang. Sorry about that. I'm going to use a stamp platform. And I've already got a little piece of tape here, so I'm just going to set this right down on my tape. I'm going to stamp this because I want the whole thing stamped. I'll lay this down on top. Okay, and I'll take my ink. The only thing about this is it's so huge it's hard to get the whole thing in camera. I'm going to take my ink, and I'm going to use a pouncer tool. Let's find a yellow. Let's make sure, because I don't, looks like I colored something else with this, but And these are my ones that I use specifically for inks only. And I'm just going to ink up this stamp. And the reason I have it on the platform is because I may want to do several layers. We're gonna see. And I don't care if it's perfect as far as, you know, the ink color on there. I'll just keep tapping it on. We'll stamp down and see what we get. The only thing is if I want to do a second coat, I want it to land in the same spot. Yeah, I want to get it a little bit darker. Here and there. There we go. So you see I've got kind of a mottled background. Yes, now where did that red ink come from? Wasn't there a minute? I just washed my hands. I must have touched something. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe off the stamp. I'm going to put this away because I'm done with this bulky one. And we've got this. Now I'm going to take a stencil, and let me go choose a stencil. Okay, so I have this layering stencil. It's a 3-piece. It's called Pretty Petals, and I only want to use this petal portion. Okay. And what I want to do here is I want to add some of the solar paste to this, but I don't want to spray it through. So I'm going to think this through how I might want to do this. Let's go ahead and tape down my stencil real quick. I think that over. I don't want to use my pouncer because I don't want to get that stuff on my pouncer. Makeup sponge would do the job. Do I have a clean one is the question. I don't think I do. Okay. Think if you want to give up one of your pouncers for this, because the pouncer would be perfect. Okay. I have here an unused pouncer. We're going to designate this a solar spray pouncer. I'm going to shake it up. Make sure you hear the little ball in there. You might have to talk nice to it. And this is how I shake them. It's probably not the right way, but it's how I do it. And then I'm going to open this up. I'm going to spray some right down here. Come on. Got to prime it because it's brand new. Oh, don't, oops. There it comes. So I'm going to spray some here. I'm going to dab it with my pouncer. And I'm just going to pounce it on here. And you're barely going to be able to see it, and that's the idea. Just to give us a little bit more fun in our background. So I sacrificed a pouncer tool, but that's okay. And it's going to get a little weird because the medium is wet. That's okay. Just making sure I've got it all covered here. And that'll dry super fast because it's a really super thin coat. Clean that off, pull off our stencil. And there, you can barely see it unless you put it in the light. And that was the idea. Okay, so I've got a background here. Now I want to add something. Let's kind of let that dry. It's a little bit wet. Let's do, I think we'll have a play with these whimsical florals. Now this is going to require some fussy cutting, and you guys know I don't mind. So keep that in mind. And I think I want to do pink and orange. I'm going to grab the stamps out of here. I'm going to grab the first one. And you guys know I'm not going to hand stamp this because let's grab my big Misty. I think I can do this in my mini Misty. And we'll grab another piece of this Simon Hurley Stark White. And I'll put this one here. And I'll grab the other one and put it right here. And I'm going to grab Prom Queen. And I'm going to grab my pink pouncer. Oops, these are my oxide pouncers. You see what happens? I jump in too fast. There we go. I just noticed that because I saw it on top of the ink. There we go. Kind of going in dark around the edges. And oops, I got some on that one. I didn't mean to. Got to be more careful here. And get this nice and dark. And another coat. You can do as many coats as you want. The more coats you do, the darker it's going to get. Sometimes you need to re-ink your inks too. Let that set for a second. Okay, now I'm going to come in again just on the edges. Just around the edges. And I almost feel like putting some Game Over on there. You know what? I think I will. On those edges. Find it. Love Struck might have been a better choice, but too late. I'm here. I'm in. Yeah, that makes it nice and dark, actually. I like that. I'm going to grab my rag, wipe off my pouncer, and then just kind of pounce out this center here so that it blends in better. Yeah, that's nice and dark. And then I think I want to I'm going to let that be just like it is. And then I'm going to wipe off my stamp. Not that it matters because we're going to come in with the next color. And so what I think I'll do is I'm going to come in with Roar, but I'm also going to come in with, where is it? Not on the floor. I know I have a second orange, which is called Piggyback. There it is. I'm going to start with the Piggyback. Now I'm going to show you the difference between and why I pounce. Okay, I'll go ahead and get ink on here. And what do we get? Not much. Not much so far. Couple coats. I just feel like I'm not getting as even of a coating as I do when I pounce. So let's grab the, let me just move this before I wreck it. That out of the way. Let's get a pouncer. See the difference? Do another coat. I just feel like it disperses the ink better. There we go. And then let's come in with some Roar around the edges. Coat. With most dye inks, you know, it might take a few coats to get it as rich and dark as you want it. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to wipe these off. I'm not moving them though, because I want to go lighter in the middles here. And in order to do that, I'm going to need to use a pigment. And so in this case, I believe that I will use some Distress ink, because Simon doesn't have a white ink yet. Yet is the operative word. And I'm going to grab a little brush, because I don't have a white small pouncer. And I'm just going to dab on some white right here in the centers. Just like this isn't, I don't think this is actually an ink. It feels more like a pigment, but whatever. So now they kind of are lighter. It's not by any means dramatic, and that's fine. I don't need it to be. So now we're going to kick it up a notch. And we're going to come in with our solar spray. So I'm going to come in with Overheated over my orange flower. And I don't care if they accidentally mix up. Just shake it up really well. And then I'll come in with the Cross My Heart on the red flower. And we'll have to let those dry, because that's when they really shine. And it's okay if the colors run. I'm perfectly okay with that. Here's what it looks like before it's dry. So we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to be back. I'm not going to heat set. I'm not going to heat dry. I'm going to let it dry on its own. Okay. So I have gone ahead and fussy cut these off camera, and I want to do some more things to the background here. So I've taken out my Guppy and my Rosy Cheeks Lunar Paste. First I want to trim down my background. So we're going full on mixed media here, but not in the traditional sense that you're used to seeing me doing. So I'm going to trim this to 3 3/4 by 5. Okay. Then I'm going to lay my stencil down, but I just want to do a little bit of stenciling. So I'm going to kind of find the spots on the stencil that have the most. I'm going to go this corner and this corner. So let's grab, oh, I still got some tape, okay? We'll use the same tape I had. I'm just going to tape it down a little. It's not that important, because I'm only going to swipe just a little bit here. And since I want to have my flowers going this way, let me see, do I want them going this way? I'm going to do guppy in the top right. Let's get a paper towel handy. Just going to get a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to have to hold the stencil down here. A little bit more right here. Okay, and then I'm going to come down to the bottom left and do the rosy cheeks. I'm going to start right about here. Just spread it on. I can't find my Simon Hurley spreader, and it's okay with me if it's messy. Okay, I want it that way. I'll pull the stencil up. I'm going to set that aside and let it dry, and then I'm going to add some to the flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go opposite sides. Let's just wipe off this stencil real quick. Get a little water. That way I don't have to worry about scrubbing on it later. Just get it wiped off now. And wipe this stuff up. I'm a messy crafter, friends. What I have here is I have this little stylus, and I'm going to, on the orange flower, I'm going to just dip my stylus and I'm going to make little dots in the flower all the way around. Not asking for them to be perfect. Just kind of dotting that in. You can put this stuff in a container. I've done it before, like one of those little glue bottles. But so that's all I'm doing with that one. And I'll take my paper towel. I need a new one here. And do the opposite color on the other one. I'll do the guppy. The same thing, just dotting it down. And the ball on this one is about, I don't know how to measure these, about this big. You could do this with a paintbrush too if you don't have something, or an old ballpoint pen that doesn't work anymore. And it is texturized, and it is what I want. So now again we wait for things to dry. And since this is rather thick up here, might take a little bit of time, but let's give you an idea of how this is going to come together. So it'll be like so. And I'll probably add more color to this background as soon as it's dry. But right now we wait for it to dry. Okay, so off camera I have swiped some Prom Queen and Roar kind of over top each other, and I've heat set this. I want to make sure it's completely dry. Our lunar paste is close enough to dry. So next thing I want to do is I want to add some color back into these. So now they're just really shiny. See how shiny those are? So I'm going to grab my Prom Queen ink. And I'm going to grab a blending tool. Let's get, let's see, do I have one? Yeah, this will be close enough. And all I want to do is just come around the edges of this, just to kind of embolden them. Just kind of coming in. I might just do a little right here in the center too. Just for the heck of it. All right, let's grab the roar and do the same thing. And then we're gonna do a couple more steps. So the reason, I forgot to tell you, the reason I did this is because I'm going to do the sentiment from the Heartfelt Blooms. And I want to heat emboss. Okay, let's grab the roar. Let's grab a different sponge top. And same thing, just coming around the edges with it. Oh, look at that. I got a smudge on there. Okay, not gonna have to hide that. No worries. All right, now what I want to do is I want to grab a piece of tissue paper. Okay, so I have my tissue paper and I have my text stamp again. And this time I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to just lay ink on here. And I'm using VersaFine Clair in Nocturne. I'm just going to take my tissue paper and gently lay it on here and give it a press carefully so it doesn't shift around. So there we've got our text on tissue paper. Okay, let's clean this off. You guys probably think I done lost my mind. This is kind of how I like to do mixed media. Set that aside. Okay, I'm going to give that ink a chance to dry. I'm going to stamp our sentiments. Let's get out my white. Is this white? Yep, my white embossing powder. Let's get my embossing pad. Let's use the anti-static powder tool. Sit. You can tell I heat dried this. Let's get a magnet in there. Just for good measure. Small one right here. Since these are brand new stamps, they're going to stick to it and lift the paper. Okay, I want Mom. And then You Are So Beautiful. And I want to set these up because I'm going to cut it out as all one unit. So trying to get them even without them sticking to my finger. And they just need to be even with each other. They don't have to be even on the page. Give them a little bit of a rub here. Let's grab a piece of paper to dump my embossing powder off onto. I know a lot of people use a coffee filter. I do not. I lose them. One more. Cross your fingers that my stuff is dry enough. Get that out of the way for a minute. Yes, it was. Kind of. Pretty close. I don't mind too much excess around the outside because I'm going to be fussy cutting that out. But if it bothers you, you could take a brush and wipe it off. All right, let's get this heat embossed. Lickety split. That's all embossed. Okay, now we can start to put this together. So I want to have a border around this, and I think I'm going to go with I'm going to stick with pink. Let me find a pink piece of paper that makes me feel pleasure. Maybe this, which is a very super pale pink. No, won't work. Will not work. Okay. The pale pink would work, but not that pale pink. I'm going to go with this pink. I kind of regret my choice of the rosy cheeks here, but it'll be fine. I don't think I want that pink either. All right, let's try a yellow. Do I have a pale yellow? I do not. Just trying to find a happy medium. I think it's going to be this one. Let's grab my glue. I'm going to glue this down and then I'll trim it off. Part of the reason why I'm doing that is because the lunar paste kind of warps it. Especially if you took a heat tool to it, which I did. Because I didn't want to leave my camera on the whole time because the light's on with it. It's my phone. And it will, I'm worried that I'll lose my screen or something at some point. Now I'm going to need a card base. I'm just going to grab a white card base. Let's trim this down. And I'm just kind of eyeballing, trying to get it, you know, fairly the same all the way around. There we go. So it's barely even noticeable. That's why I didn't really need to lament too hard over the color of it. It's just going to bring another color in. I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the card base before I go any further. Make sure I'm in frame here. Okay, so we have our piece of tissue. I'm going to tear it. I'm going to tear kind of a circle. A little bit bigger than my flower. And let's see, which flower did I mess up? This can be a bottom flower. And needs to be torn down just a tiny bit more. It's a little bit on the big side. I do want some sticking out, of course. I'm going to go ahead and just add a dab of glue and just kind of glue that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue my flower down just at the center in case I want to tuck something underneath of it. Underneath it. Okay, and then I'm going to make another little shape, circle adjacent, oval, oddball shape. There we go. And I'm going to actually glue that to the back of my flower. And the letters don't even have to be in a perfect position. They just don't. I'm going to pop that up on a little piece of foam. I don't think I want it upside down though. That'll just bother my soul. Let's kind of clean that up a little. I don't want to cover too much of my other flower either. I do want to cover where I made a mess though. Okay, fussy cut the sentiment. And I like to cut the big parts off before I start cutting small. It just, for me, makes life easier. The big parts annoy me, they get in my way. And then I'm just going to kind of fake bubble cut this. Best I can. So I'm doing this live, which is different from me. I usually do a voiceover, but listen, I have a time issue, and so I got myself involved in a fabulous project, but it really sucked up a lot of my time. I think we're gonna go right here with it. So I'm gonna grab one of these foam circles. I'm going to put it right here in the corner. Let's get the small one. I'm going to grab some glue. Grab my tweezers. There straight adjacent. There we go. If I look in my camera, I see it needs to come up a little this way, and I better hurry before it fully sticks. There we go. And there you have it. Little mixed media Mother's Day card using the new Simon Hurley solar spray. So can you see it on the background? It's just real super subtle, but then it's in the flowers. And then we've got lunar paste, we've got solar spray, we've got lunar paste, we've got the new all the new stamps, everything all together on one beautiful Mother's Day card. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching my video. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will have the links in the description box below. Just remember that if you shop my links, yay, I make a small commission at no extra cost to you, and I really appreciate your support for my channel. Take care, everybody. See you next time. Bye bye.